Oh, good morning. The third way. The Sufi mystic and poet Hafez once wrote, "You are invited to meet the divine. No one can resist a divine invitation. That narrows down all of our choices to just two. You can come to the divine dressed for dancing, or be carried on a stretcher to God's ward." I love that quote. I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful quote. It will be our theme quote for this month. So it seems appropriate that we spend just a few minutes unpacking what it means. And this is my interpretation. You're invited to meet the divine, which means you are invited, you are being called to express more of God as you. You are constantly being invited in a higher, freer, fully expanded version of life living itself as you. The invitation shows up in your life as either an inner urging for more expression or as discontent, dissatisfaction with where you are now. The part that says can't resist the invitation, to me that means either your inner urging for more expression or your discontent, dissatisfaction with where you are now will have its way with you. That's just the way it is. You can't stop it. You can't resist it. You can come dressed for dancing means you can show up fully ready and prepared to do whatever it takes to answer the call of desire or discontent. Or you can be carried out on a stretcher, and that means you can resist the call of the desire or get mired down in the discontent and agree to a life of struggle. So I don't know about you, but I would rather accept the divine invitation to be dressed for dancing. How about you guys? Want to be dressed for dancing? Okay, good. Then this,
Just boogie.
Yeah, exactly. Each week this month, that's what we're going to be called to do, and that's what we're going to do. And there might even be some actual dancing involved. Just a little teaser there. Or said another way, we will consciously, actively, deliberately, purposefully, and intentionally answer the call to be the fullest, freest, most expanded expression of the divine that we can be, whether it comes as a desire or as discontent. So this morning I want to expand on and deepen into some concepts that we have explored here before. Remember, I don't know if you were here when we talked about the mystics. So some of those concepts I'm going to just touch on a little bit this morning. And it is the idea of our spiritual evolution being a series of 4 stages. And you'll remember them when I start talking about them. So they are the why me or the victim stage. Why does this always happen to me? So that's the first stage, why me. Then there's the by me. And these sound familiar, they're all from Michael Beckwith. He developed these in a session that he did. So there's the by me stage, because there is a universal law that responds to my consciousness. I am a creative being, so I can make things happen. Powerful, and it's important. This is a really important stage, but it's not the end. I think a lot of us stop here because we start seeing how powerful we are. But the next stage is the through me stage. The Father within doeth the work. It's that acceptance stage of allowing life to express through you. The concept, and the final stage is the as me. I am one with Spirit. I am one with God. I am one with the universal mind. That's the final one. The concept of these stages came forth years ago, and I think that they're very, very right on still today. Many years after the stages were articulated like that, I started thinking about them in just another way of looking at them. The mortal equating the why me stage. The metaphysician, which we all are, was the by me stage. The mystic, through me, which is what we focused on a couple months ago, the through me stage. And the master. We all know about the masters. And that's the as me, when you reach that stage, as me. They're the same stages as I went through earlier, but they're labeled differently, and they're a little bit descriptive, a little bit different there. but they're the same. So today we're going to take a very brief look at the first stage, and then much more in the last three. We're going to go deeper as they relate to being dressed for dancing in answer to that divine invitation. So before we're talking about how we dress for dancing to the divine invitation, let's spend 2 minutes exploring how we show up on the stretcher in life. Okay, and that's by hanging out in that first phase of spiritual development, the why me or the mortal stage. At this stage, life can be a real struggle. And we've all been there, and we all know people, who are in this struggle at this point. You feel separated. We were talking about that this morning, that when we feel separated from spirit, that can be a really tough time. You feel disconnected. Nobody understands what I'm going through, or you feel alone. You feel powerless, a victim of circumstances, and all you can see are the circumstances out there. The effects, not the cause. You just see what's happening. You see everything that's being done to you. You're really in that why me victim stage. When we're in this stage of the why me or mortal, we believe in the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And when we do that, when we give that energy to those circumstances, we're giving it more power, right? Every relationship, every failure, every challenge is because of what life has done to us. When we encounter challenges, problems, pain, we look outward. And we spend a lot of time in crisis consciousness instead of Christ consciousness, which of course, Christ consciousness comes to us at a more expanded level. There's a perfect way to know when we're in this stage. It's accompanied by quite a bit of noise, drama, and complaining, and the back of your hand is velcroed to your forehead like this, right? Okay. Anybody recognize that stage? Anybody been there? Right? Okay. I don't know about you, but I am completely and totally done with that stage. I'm making that claim, that statement right now. Are you? Is everybody here done with that stage too? Okay. Then we're going to do this together. I want everyone to wipe their hands several times and shake them out. Okay? And repeat after me. Been there.
Been there.
Done that.
Done that.
Bought the t-shirt.
Bought the t-shirt.
And I'm ready to move on permanently.
Ready to move on permanently.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Okay, we're done with that. All right, so now we're going to move on to the second, third, and fourth stages in our evolutionary process. Because it is an evolutionary process, we are all evolving. We're going to see how they relate to being dressed for dancing to answer that divine invitation. So the second, the by me or metaphysician. This is an empowering stage because here we learn about our co-creative abilities. This is exciting. When most of us get into, metaphysics, we learn how powerful we truly are and how we can co-create so many experiences in our lives. We identify our visions, our dreams, and our goals. We really feel empowered. We're in touch with our desires and our divine discontent, because that can, keep us motivated too. Not in a why me or mortal way, but in a way of realizing that we're being called to something more. And we realize that we have the ability to bring it out. When you think, wow, I really don't like the color of that wall. But you realize that you have the power to go get paint and a paintbrush and change it. And that's what we're doing at this stage in our life. We definitely put on our dancing shoes in this stage. Spirit, the divine, has planted this vision in you. And that's why you crafted it. That's why you're longing for it. Here's a very, very cool thought. By the time you become consciously aware of this vision, it is actually an echo of the universe longing to express and experience itself in this way as and through you. Wow, an echo of the universe. The very life energy that is moving in the entire universe and that is breathing you, has called you into being and given you an idea of a greater life and is now leaning into you and urging you forward. I love that. That Spirit's leaning into you. It's urging you forward. Just like life whispers to a blade of grass, press through the cement and be the best blade of grass you can be. Or it says to the oak tree, press through that acorn shell and become the very best oak tree you can be. We saw a lot of incredible live oak trees in the south with the Spanish moss, and we learned that it's not actually moss. It isn't. It's an airborne plant that just hangs there, doesn't hurt the trees, but just absorbs from the atmosphere, the humidity. It won't grow here. And they said, don't take it home because it has chiggers in it. It's like, fine, it can stay. So is life whispering to you. Press through those barriers and restrictions and be the best you can be. In the absence of you leaning into your vision, in the absence of that, the world is a lesser place. The liberation of life in you in ways that you delight in is the most wondrous thing that there is. You light up, everything gets easier, life gets more fun, and it becomes contagious. You've been around people like that, right? When you're around fun people, people who love to laugh, people who are filled with energy, all of a sudden you feel lifted up. You become a blessing to everyone. Everyone you meet, everyone you know, you are a blessing to them. So in this stage, we tap into that vision and we begin to learn and use the law of mind as a way to demonstrate the expanded life. We create a mental pattern, the pictures, the feelings, the words, the writings for this life. Now here's where the conversation goes deeper than the by me or metaphysician conversations that we've had in the past. And it comes in the work of modern mystic, author, speaker, teacher, Gay Hendricks, who's read Gay Hendricks' books. Yes, okay. He calls it the Newtonian way of being. To go there, we must become aware of Newton's third law of motion. So can anybody tell me what that law is? Any scientists here? Okay, it is, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. All right, everybody passes science. I love it. I know. I know. When we launch an intention to answer the divine invitation to express God more fully, we can bring up old and opposing stuff, right? Does this ever happen to you? When you make a claim that you want something and maybe something, comes up and says, but, all right? So we must be willing. We must become willing to clear any limiting beliefs and feelings that are in the way of the creation of our dreams and visions. At the by me metaphysician stage, we use visualization and affirmations to bring up and clear out the invisible barriers, right? Okay, at this stage, we also know the importance of releasing the dream, desire, with the intention that it will come in the right way and time. That's that release mode. Certainly, we all know, we've been doing treatment or affirmative prayer, that it's our final step in our spiritual mind treatment. That is release. And when you release, you don't drag it back in and start picking at it. Wait, you let it go. You do release it. Everything in this stage is vitally important in our spiritual evolution, but it isn't the final answer. And why do I say this? Well, there's proof in the results. Remember Ernest Holmes' words in the final conclusion of The Science of Mind. He said, I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all of the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. Wow. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principles than to have him repeat all of the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. Because we can know it, but if we don't practice it and use it, what good is it, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we do all of this perfectly, or at least we think we do, and yet we don't have the experience that we're envisioning, right? We've done treatment, we've done our affirmation, our visualizations, and yet it's not appearing the way we think it ought to. It's kind of a great disappointment. Maybe we even become a little disillusioned. This stuff doesn't work, or I've heard this one a lot, this stuff doesn't work for me. It might work for you, but it's not working for me. And that's because we haven't gone far enough. There are two more ways of being, and the third is the through me mystic, or in Gay Hendricks' language, the Einsteinian stage. The mystical or through me stage of our evolution of consciousness is a place where we surrender more and more to the divine, where we desire to simply be an open vessel for God or Spirit, where we realize that something bigger than our finite humanness is operating through us. It's a place in our evolution where we recognize the power of the words of the Beatles song, "All there is love." Or England, Dan and John Ford Coley's song, "Love is the answer." Hendricks calls it the Einstein stage because it is based on Einstein's law of vibration. Now, oh my gosh, how many people are teaching about the vibration levels right now? And Einstein's talking about this. He discovered this law years ago. You didn't know that you were really going to get this science lesson today, did you? Okay, but I promise there's not going to be an exam. In the year 1905, Albert Einstein proved that we can break matter down into smaller components, and that when we do, we move beyond the material realm and into the realm in which everything is energy. Everything is energy. This is the law of vibration, a law of nature that states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Now, proof of that are my 3 granddaughters that were at my house.
Yeah.
They never rest. They're always moving and they're always vibrating, I got to tell you. So that was a good example. But the lower the vibration, the slower the movement. The higher vibration, the faster the movement. The differences in the various manifestations in our physical, mental, emotion, and spiritual world would occur because of the different levels of vibrating energies or frequencies. Feelings of fear, anger, resentment, victimhood, etc. vibrate at a very low frequency, while the feelings, and Joy talks about this a lot, about the levels. So the feelings of joy and gratitude and love vibrate at a very high frequency, right? At this stage, when something doesn't turn out like we think it should, rather than hanging out in a place of great disappointment or disillusionment, this stuff doesn't work stage, or this stuff doesn't work for me stage, those are real low vibration, we are willing to look closely at what our results are and to love ourselves right in the middle of not liking the results. Wow, that's a tough order, isn't it? To like yourself in the middle of maybe not getting the results you want, but that's a higher vibration. And we are even willing to love the circumstance the way it is, which is a much higher vibration. What you shared, Suzanne, loving the situation and all of the people. I mean, when they reminded you of who you were, what a high vibration that must have felt. What an incredible feeling. I love that. When we love the way it is, we become willing to get the message or lesson from the results for the purpose of seeing our current vibrational level of intention. Because our results will always tell us our unconscious intention. That's an interesting thing. It's like, how do I know if I don't know? Well, you know with your results. Mm-hmm. That is your unconscious. And then when you know, it's not unconscious anymore. So let me say that again, because it's really a game-changing concept. Our results will always tell us our unconscious intention. The moment something isn't working, that's what needs to be embraced and loved. Something is creating the results that you don't want. In the experience is found the key to why. The reason it's not working is because there's an interior clog between it and you that is keeping it from manifesting. A key moment is to love what is, which says, I am willing to get the message. So open up. I'm willing to get the message. This will tell me where my unconscious intention is. And when we do this, we open the treasure trove to the meaning of it. And so we keep expanding in love until we've opened. When we love the experience or the fear or the unconscious intention, the problem dissolves rather than gets solved. Isn't that interesting? Because if something has to be solved, then it almost seems like it's more real. But if it just dissolves, and that's happened. I've actually seen where things have just gone away, just no longer there. We've all experienced that. And isn't that allowing God to express through us? Isn't that our third level of evolution in consciousness, the through me, the mystic? God, the infinite power of love, holds no judgment or unhappiness or disappointment about anything. God's never disappointed. God's never unhappy. God just accepts and loves. I have had the opportunity to practice this stage, actually recently, and I've shared this with you this morning about the issue with our shower leaking into our kitchen and creating quite a mess, an inch of water on the floor. And boy, that was kind of a shock. Whoa, do we turn off the water? Do we call a plumber? What do we do? What do we do? You know, you kind of start to panic. It's like, no, you know. And I have to admit, the first thought that went through my mind was, why does this always happen when we're on vacation? And we did have something like this happen, you know, when we were on vacation, but that was 10, 15 years ago. We had something like that happen. Our solar panels started leaking. They were heating our pool, and somehow they broke, and they went through the roof into our bedroom. And so we did have an experience with that. But, you know, I just decided I wasn't going to stay in that mode. I was on vacation. I just trusted. I knew that whatever it was could easily be fixed. And the plumber came, and my son-in-law came up, and they replaced the pipe. Everything's fine. So the good thing is that I recognized, very grateful, very happy that we hadn't replaced our kitchen ceiling already, because that was next on our list anyway. Taking out those awful fluorescent lights, and we're putting in can lights, and of course having to redo the whole ceiling. Wow, this could have happened after we had done that. It didn't. So now we get to open it up and make sure that there's no mold or anything growing. Life is good, so it's good. So, and if this stage isn't powerful enough, there's still one more way. There's still another way, and we call it the ASME or master stage. Hendricks calls it the third way. For us, it's almost the fourth way. We've often looked at this stage as not being attainable by us mere mortals. We felt pretty good if we could actually hang out in the through me mystic Einsteinian stage. The ASME master third stage is one reserved for people like Jesus or other high and holy exalted beings. But I love the way that Hendricks speaks about it. He suggests that in this stage, we deepen into a realization and then let it be okay that we are actually the source. This is key, that we are actually the source of our experiences in our life. We acknowledge our sourceness. Hendricks suggests statements like this. Let's try them on for size. Okay, you can repeat this with me. I make up my life.
I make up my life.
I am where my life comes.
I am where my life comes.
I am the source of my good.
I am the source of my good.
I am the source of time.
I am the source of time.
I am the source of love.
I am the source of love.
This is deep work because we are stepping into the truth of our oneness. We're stepping into the truth of our oneness, the truth of the ASME consciousness. If God is the source of all, and I am God as an expression, then I am the source of all as well. You know, you're looking at the ocean, and we're all drops in the ocean, but each drop contains all of what is in that ocean. We are God's sparks. We are divine expressions of the one. And we can't argue with that logic. At this stage, we move through life as an agreement that we are always in the right place at the right time. We're always right where we're supposed to be. And to do this, we must get comfortable as we can being right where we are right now. I mean, a lot of us think, okay, you know, I'm okay, but I'd rather be here. You know, this is all right, but I'd rather, no, let's get comfortable right where you are, right where we are. We get in harmony with how things are, and we keep intending our higher dreams, our higher visions, our higher love. We keep opening verbally and non-verbally to what is right now, and remain firm in our commitment to our own and the universe's highest purpose, realizing that they are one and the same thing. It's so hard with our language, because even our mere language separates us, or gives an illusion of separation, and we are not separate. We are truly one. Spirit is expressing as us. Holmes, in the words, in the final conclusion of The Science of Mind, after the part about proving the principles I shared earlier, are these. He says, the essence of spiritual mind healing and of all true religious philosophy is an inner realization of the presence of perfection within and around about, It is the hope of heaven, the voice of God proclaiming, I am that which thou art that which I am. And that is the third way, living as the source. And it takes that shift of awareness. It really does. It takes a little work. And it takes intentional focus. And we, each and every one of us, can absolutely do that. We can do that. And in doing that, we are definitely dancing with the divine invitation. I want to end this morning with a beautiful poem written by M. Clare, who happens to be, does anyone know who M. Clare is? She is the wife of Neale Donald Walsch. And it goes like this, and it speaks to the third way. I am that I am, and so much more. The light, the sound, the living God on the ground. I could show you every feather in the wing, every color and hue, every beautiful thing. But I am that I am wants to love whoever has not yet had it, whatever has not yet known it, however life's not yet done it. There's still so much loving yet to be found, just living God on the ground. And so it is.
So it is.